and she's just going to talk you through how she works, her ideas, how she started, and I think it's really insightful. And the reason I'm doing it is I just want all of us creatives to realise that we all work in a totally different way. And there's no one way or right way of working. And I'm really inspired, and I love Kathy, I love her work. This is a very small part of what she does. She's an absolute powerhouse of creativity. She makes so many things, so please befriend her on Facebook afterwards and have a look at all the things she does. But welcome, Kathy.
Thank you.
Right, first of all, Kathy, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself as an artist, and how did your journey begin?
Well, if I go back to the beginning, when I was a child, I came from a very large family of 10. So we all had to kind of have an imagination, you know, as to keeping ourselves happy. There wasn't much money about. And I just loved drawing. I was always sketching and dressing up. I loved dressing up. And that's continued. So that's where it all really began.
And going to college, I know we studied at the same time. I think I joined a year after you. Kathy was on a different course to me. Can you tell us a little bit, how did you decide to go back into education as a mature student? What made you do that?
Again, going back to being a child, I was an underachiever at school. I failed at everything. And I think my mum was beside herself half the time, you know, because I was always told her. I didn't read properly until I was about 7, and even then it was, you know, not great. So I was set up really to fail. And I kind of withdrew into myself and carried on with my art, basically. And then I met this wonderful man who lived in my village, who was their local vicar. And once a month I used to take my children to Sunday school, Sunday service at church, and I'd already kind of developed my own style in the way that I dressed, and I used to make my children's clothes. Again, not much money, so I used to go around in charity shops, flea markets, jumble sales, anywhere that I'd pick up different bits and pieces that I liked. And I think Stuart recognised that I was a little bit different, and I didn't know at the time, but he was a fashion designer who became a priest. And he was still working at UCA. He was part-time there as a fashion designer. And he just got talking to me and said, you know, where did you train? And I said, oh, I didn't, I've never trained. You know, it's just something that I do, you know. And my poor girls now, they hate the thought when they look back the way I used to dress them. Victorian outfits and always a hat, always, you know, a hat. And so he said you should go and get some more training, go to the college. And all those old fears started coming back again. I couldn't possibly do that. I'd never managed the paperwork apart from anything else. You know, and I couldn't bear the thought of somebody telling me what I should be doing and how I should be doing it. But I've managed this, you know, this long. He wasn't hearing any of it. He just kept on and on and on. Every time I saw him, you should go to college. I've got the children, I can't. And then I lost touch with Stuart. He moved to Strood. He'd become a vicar somewhere else. And, you know, time just goes by, doesn't it? You know, he's still in my heart, but I didn't actually see him. And then I went to the flea market at Corporation Street, and I found this book, this on fashion. And straight away Stuart came to my mind, and I thought, Stuart would love this. And it was 50 pence. So I've got to buy it, and I've got to take it to him. I've got to meet up with him again. So my husband, Derek, drove us over to Strood to where he lived, just on the off chance, and his wife opened the door, and she was like, oh my goodness me, Kathy, you're with dinner. So we went indoors, and Stuart came and he said, Crikey, this is really strange, he said, because I was only thinking of you a couple of days ago. He said, there's this most wonderful course going on at UC. I said, oh, Stuart, not again. He just didn't let go. So he said, no, honest and truly, he said, this course is meant for you. So he said, my friend is actually running it, and Luna be able to vouch for this. She knows Richard Kerridge.
Yeah, he was a fantastic.
Lovely,
this
lovely
isn't
man.
a push for UCA, by the way.
Yeah,
it really isn't.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, he's not there any longer anyway, but he's a lovely man. And Stuart said, 3 of my friends are actually running this course, and it's an access course. So I'd never had any, training, never been to, I didn't go to school that often, so I wasn't, had no former kind of thing. So he phoned up Richard whilst I was there and put me on the phone and asked if I would like to come for an interview. And he asked me if I had a portfolio, and I said, no, I don't have a portfolio. And Stuart shouted, yes, she does. She has her house. You have to come and see her house. Her house is her portfolio because all her stuff is there, So anyway, I got the interview, and I got through, and they accepted me, which was like, oh my God, I've actually done it now, So I started really, really worrying about it, really scared, but I needn't have done because it was fabulous. Probably one of the best years of my life, to be perfectly honest. I met lots of interesting, lovely people that I felt really in touch with. We all thought in the same kind of way. We all had similar fears and worries because we were mature students. There were a few younger students there, but there was a majority of mature students. Did the first year, and then I decided I wanted to do my foundation degree. And I mean, previous to that, I could never have imagined that I would be doing a degree, And did the foundation degree, got through that, and then I thought, I'm going to do my BA. So I was there for 6.5 years, in all, part-time, loved it, absolutely loved it, didn't want to leave.
What did you do your BA in?
I did creative and technical practice, which covered a huge amount of things. I mean, we did photography, we did bookmaking, we did all sorts of things, So it was a really good thing for me because it took me an awful long time to call myself an artist. And I think a lot of artists have that problem, You just think, I'm an artist. You kind of think people are going to look at you, an artist, So I used to call myself like a creative, which I still think I am. I'm a creative person. I don't do one particular thing, as you said. It's what I do comes from here. It has to be a feeling that I have.
And did you pass, Kathy?
I did. I got a BA 1-1, yeah. And I got a first for my dissertation, which is amazing.
Can you explain why that's so amazing?
I'm dyslexic, so I wasn't stupid, which is what I used to think I was when I was younger, because everybody told me I was. So I just used to think, there's no way that I'm ever going to learn to do anything. But because I was older and mature, and I wanted this so badly, that I shut myself away for 6 months in a room in my house, and just used to, write. And it's not easy. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's become a lot easier for me now. When I start to write now, it flows easier. I mean, my spelling's not great, and my grammar's not perfect, but then I can get that checked by other people. But what's up here, I can still, express that. So, yeah.
I know that you work in a very organic way. Can you explain to everyone where you get your ideas and your inspiration from?
Well, it's difficult to explain my ideas because it can be anything that kind of triggers something that I want to do. But with my hat making, I still go around charity shops, flea markets. I very rarely go to, high street shops so I don't find new stuff. And I will look for the most tattiest hats that are around. I don't want to pay a lot of money for them. I just want something. All I want is the fabric. So rather than going and buying my felt offline or something, which costs an absolute arm and a leg to begin with, I just use the base. So I would get something like this. This would have been a different style of hat altogether. And I'll just cut it about, and I'll just sit there, and I don't have a plan, never ever plan anything, and I'll sit there and I think, I like the colour, and if I twist that around or do this. And then I probably get my inspiration from other hat designers like Lily Dash, Shrapelli. They're the type of artists that I like to work from because I love their styles. I love those styles. So that's how I would start. Some things I actually make from scratch, like this one. I made this for an exhibition I did last year, just before Christmas, and I made it to wear. I wore this. But that was made totally from scratch, and the inspiration from that came from a lady that gave me this original Edwardian jet beaded lace, and I got masses of it. So, and it's very heavy, but that's what gave me the inspiration. And I love Russian headdresses, you know, that kind of.
Can you pass that round?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe one up at the other end. Maybe one of your shoes. So do you model them on the heads that you've got there, or how do you get that right size and what your hats?
Oh, well, when I make them?
Yeah, when you make them.
I'll put them, normally I sit on my lap basically, making them, and then I'll put it onto the head, or try it on myself. It's just a knack that I have now, because I've been doing it for so long, I know what I'm doing, hopefully.
With the shoes, Kathy, how do you approach something like that?
Well, with the shoes, that came about strictly because I'm a volunteer at Restoration House in Rochester, which is another Elizabethan house which has been restored and is beautiful, and I love it there. And I like to work in character. You know, I'm a bit of an actress in a way, I suppose, really. 'Cause, it makes me feel more confident. You know, if I'm dressed in a certain way, then I can act in a certain way. And I wanted to not wear Elizabethan clothes, but something that would stand out in the house. So when I talk to visitors, I'm kind of acting, you know. And I looked for shoes online, they were just too expensive for what I wanted, and I thought, oh, how could I do that? So I buy up the shape of shoes that I like second hand, take the sole insole out, make my own, and then cover them with the fabrics that, you know, that I want to use. And that's how the shoes came about.
What artist, Kathy, would you say has been your greatest influence and the era?
Well, the artist, my greatest influence, without doubt, has to be Frida Kahlo, the Mexican artist. I don't know if you're all familiar with Frida, but she had quite a tragic life. To start with, when she was a child, you know, she had polio, and then she had an awful accident on a bus, and so she was crippled for most of her life. And she used to do a lot of self-portraits because she couldn't actually get up and walk around. She was very ill, so she'd lie in bed with them over the top from the ceiling and do portraits of herself. So yeah, and also I kind of resonate with her because she had this hard time. Not that I was ill like that as a child, but I felt like a failure, and she made it all work. She made it work for her, you know. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. And I feel that's what I've done.
She was a Mexican artist, and she used, you know, lovely colours in Mexico. I know that you love this colour. Can you tell us a bit about your colour walks, Kathy?
Yeah, again, that started a few years ago now, because I wanted to be with like-minded people, and I need, after being at UCA and you know, finding that creativity was what I was about, really. And I was born and bred in London, but didn't really go there that often. And then we started going up there to different exhibitions, like the V&A. I love the V&A. And then because we have social media now, which is a great access to meeting people, and because I'd kind of grown as a person as well, and I wasn't afraid any longer to like talk to people, and you know, where I was much quite, you would never believe the person I was a few years back. I mean, I just wouldn't been standing here now doing what I'm actually doing. And I found this lady on Facebook called Diane Goldie, and she makes wearable art, mainly kimonos, and she's a fantastic artist. And she paints her artwork like Frida Kahlo and different things on these clothes. And I learnt that she had an exhibition going in Shoreditch, in like a micro pub place called the Last Tuesday. It's a weird place, and we went there, and we were welcomed by all these different people that just didn't mind the way they dressed. They wore what they wanted to wear, and they were proud and, you know, quite open about it. And then I started thinking, oh, I'm not so strange after all. You know, I can wear these kind of clothes and people will find it interesting. And so we started mixing with these different people. And we created, another lady that I know who has a vintage shop in London, created what she called a colour walk.
Sorry, Kathy. What one was it? That one.
That one, yeah. And what we do is once a month we dress up in as bizarre as we like and as colourful as possible, and we all meet, and sometimes there can be 50 of us, sometimes there can be 20 of us, sometimes there may be 8 of us, but we will meet and we decide where we're going to go. It's usually a boot fair, Battersea Boot Fair, and different places, the V&A, and we all meet up and we stroll along the streets, and people are like, wow, you know, what's all this about? And everybody talks to you, you know, and we just say, oh, we're just brightening the place up, you know, just being ourselves and being colourful, and we just meet so many people, and it's fun, and we find bargains. We go around and we find bargains, and so that's how the colour walk started.
And what era?
I love the Edwardian through to 1940s. I think it was most stylish. It was just a different way of dressing. I mean, today we have to be more practical. I mean, we couldn't go Tesco dressed like this. I have done.
You do.
But, you know, it's a different way of dressing.
Can you tell us, I know you're going to find, I know artists find this hard, and it was only through Neil and I having dinner with Derek, he's a fantastic cook, and Kathy, that Kathy told me about this after I'd already organised this event, but can you tell everyone about some of your accomplishments?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask this question, and I had to think about it, because I thought, well, I've never really thought of them as accomplishments, really. It was just something that I did along the way, you know, because it fitted in with what I was actually doing. And again, because I would never have thought that I could do something like that. But I think the first thing that happened was I entered into the Startle Art Prize at the Hazlitt Theatre in Maidstone, and it was a yearly thing that they did. But before I entered the competition, I used to curate the actual exhibitions that were on there. And then I was making my books at the time, because I've kind of gone through different stages. You know, my books were the things that started me off, and then from there on I went on to different things. So I entered this book, and I had to go for an interview with Graham Clark, who is a really well-known artist, very good. And he spoke. I remember I took a trolley bag with me, full up with all my books in, and I had to get them out and put them on the side and everything. And he said, he was very interested, had a nice little chat to me and everything. And I remember coming out and talking to somebody that I knew, and said that, I had this wonderful interview with Graham Clark, and he was really interested. I was quite shocked myself, you know, thinking, well, I might get through, I might actually get to exhibit there. And this person said to me, he's a very nice person, and he says that to everybody. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to get in there, I am. So it made me more determined, you know. And I did, I got a place, and I got runners up with this other artist, this sort of painter, Trevor Barnard, I think his name is, local man to Maidstone. And we both shared a solo exhibition there for a month. So that was my first ever, you know, getting somewhere, I felt.
Yeah.
So that then gave me the bug. And then there's a cafe on the road called Dot Cafe. I don't know if it's still there, if it's still called the same, yeah. And the lady that ran it there used to put on exhibitions, and just small exhibitions in the cafe. And somebody else, a local photographer, had an exhibition there. But I'd started then to draw character pictures of people that I knew. It was just a fun thing that I was doing. I was doing in my sketchbooks, you know. And another friend of mine said, oh, these are really good. You should make these into cards. You should do something. They're just so... I'll show you one of them, actually. they're not precise drawings of somebody, but I think you can get the gist of, if you're a local person, you might know who that one is. Right.
I had a feeling you were going to
So I mean, it's just got the essence of him there, and that's what my drawings
And
are
round
like.
here, Kathy, as well.
Sorry, I didn't pass it on. But my icons, like, I don't know if you recognise who that might be. Josephine Baker? Somebody know of Josephine Baker? Yeah. She's one of my kind of icons that I like. She was an American, who came over, who lived in France because she couldn't do what she wanted to do. She was like burlesque dancer. I just love her. And my Frida ones.
So Kathy, did you get those in the Dot Cafe?
I got these in the Dot Cafe, yeah, and I got a few paintings which I painted within a week because I wanted to have a proper exhibition there. And so that then went on to the Bentley.
Yes, at Maidstone Museum.
At Maidstone Museum. Again, that's a yearly thing. They stopped doing it now, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But local artists used to put their pictures up, you know, for a competition there. I didn't win the competition, but I actually got a painting in a Frida. And to my surprise, on the preview evening, I sold it. It was the only thing that sold that night. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't really want to sell her, to be honest. I didn't want to sell her. I was quite upset. In fact, I asked the lady when we got there, because I didn't put a very good price on her. And when I got there and saw the prices that were up on all the others, and I thought, I don't want to let her go for that. I actually don't. And I said to the curator there, I don't want to sell her. And so she said, no, that's fine, it's okay. We need to go downstairs and check the books and, you know, take the tickets off and that. And by the time we got down there, someone had already bought her. So it was meant to be. But in a way, that was actually quite good because that opened doors for me. Because once I was selling stuff, you could then say to other places, you know, that yes, I've sold this, I've done that.
And you got did you get a solo exhibition there?
I did, because although I didn't actually win the competition, they had a voting system for People's Choice, and I won the People's Choice. So the winner of the competition got £500 and a spread in the newspaper, and I got a month, another month free of an exhibition at the Maidstone Museum. So yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
And can you tell us about you've done a big event at Walden Church. In fact, I think you've done two.
Yeah.
Can you just tell everyone about that quickly?
Walden Church, where I live, is a beautiful 12th century church, in which is where I met Stuart, the vicar. And I just had this idea that I wanted to, we have a really big archive of photographs of Walden Parish Council going back to the Victorian times of Walden, as it used to be. And I was looking through these photographs, and there were sort of like wedding photos in them. And I thought, oh, how lovely if we could get some of these wedding dresses and put them on exhibition at the church. And because it's a community thing, and people love to talk about things, don't they? So I started putting my feelers out and going on social media and asking people, you know, if you've got wedding dress, you know, between like the 1900s up into the 1980s, it would be lovely to put on an exhibition. And I was really shocked. I had 40 dresses that people had, you know, brought forward. So I then had to beg, steal and borrow mannequins because I wanted it to look good. I didn't just want them, you know, just chucked over pews or whatever. So it was a mammoth task. I didn't realise just how mammoth it was at the time, but it was absolutely beautiful. Derek and I dressed up in like wedding gear, and we had lovely music going on in the background, and we charged £1 for each person to come in.
How many people came?
Oh, 300.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And what did you, was that for charity?
We did that for, yeah, it was for the restoration fund. But we sold teas and cakes and soups and all that. We raised over £700 in all. And that was just in two days. That was the Saturday and the Sunday. So then everybody was talking about it for months afterwards, you know, because it was lovely. And then I had another bright idea, and I thought, oh, I'd quite like to do do a vintage clothes one and accessories. That would be quite good too. So I did the same thing again, set out asking different people. And I knew two ladies that actually are vintage sellers. They collect and sell vintage clothes. And I contacted these people and said, have you got some clothes that I could borrow, to show? And if you want to sell them, you can put tickets on them as well. And I had hundreds, when I say hundreds and hundreds of clothes, right, just come in, and local people and my own stuff as well that I entered into. It was too much, to be perfectly honest. So we needed a year off to get over it afterwards. And then I didn't leave it there. I thought, wouldn't it be lovely to have a catwalk? And the people that I've met in London that I now know, I've met some really interesting, lovely people, and I knew 3 international models. And I just thought, I'll ask them if they wouldn't mind, giving their services, like for one day on the Saturday. And first of all, I found, no, it was Scarlett, my friend Scarlett Cannon. She was a model, a muse. She's well known during the 80s. She was in the punk era. And she used to run a nightclub in London called Cha Cha. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. But she now has fibromyalgia, and she has a bad days and she has her good days. And she has this little dog called Maud, Lady Maud, who's lovely. And I asked Scarlett if she would model for us, because she still does modelling too. And I'd already made a doll of her in a diorama set. She was like my muse. I've done paintings of her and everything. And she said, oh, I'd love to. And then I thought, I wonder if Patrick would do it. He still models a lot all over Europe, and he was in Sweden at the time when I messaged him. And I said, oh, would you do me a favour and do this, catwalk for me? And he said, yeah, no problem. Now, they paid to get here. They came down by train. They paid to get here. They did the modelling. They had no money out of it whatsoever. It was absolutely brilliant. The church was cram-packed. There was no seating left. People were standing at the back. And they put on such a show. And Patrick's friend, Jutta, German model, she was beautiful. And she came along, so I didn't even know her. And then there was a guy on Facebook. I don't even know how I got friends with him on Facebook, but he was an older gentleman, but his dress is very kind of dapper and that. And I sent him a message one night, late night, and said, I'm doing this exhibition at my local church to raise money. There's no money in it, but would you be one of my models? And he wrote back and he said, I love this idea. He said, but I think you've got the wrong person. He said, I'm over 60, I'm balding, and my teeth aren't great. And I said, well, that's okay, I'm not an ageist. Wear a hat and don't smile. I'd love to do it. So he came along as well. I'd never met him before. He's a friend now. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
I know you had the fact you had the supermodel,
yes. Patrick, yeah.
And then you had, so you gave other people opportunities.
Yeah.
I think you had a girl with disability do the catwalk as well, did you, on that?
I had what, sorry?
Did you have a girl with disability do the catwalk?
That was Scarlett.
That was Scarlett.
Oh no, and the other, no, I know who you're talking about. My friend Carol, her cousin, she's Down syndrome, she's in her 50s, and she loves Derek. And I asked her if she would be a model.
Fashion?
Oh, she loved it, absolutely adored it. And Derek and her, I can't remember what her name is, Sandra. And Sandra walked along the catwalk together. And she afterwards, because everybody applauded them, and she said to Derek, "We won." It was lovely.
How much did you raise, Kathy?
That was over £700 again. Yeah.
Fantastic. So lastly, Kathy, thanks so much for talking. It's really insightful and I think quite inspirational. If you can tell everyone how this journey, the journey of connecting to your inner creative, has changed your life, and any advice to other people?
Follow your heart. Believe in yourself. The biggest thing is to believe in yourself, and what you do is for you and for nobody else. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If they think your work's rubbish, don't care. You know, because it's what you get out of it. It's what you get from it. If you start trying to make art and think that everybody else has got to like it or it's got to be perfect, nothing's. But life isn't perfect. You know, it's what you find, how you find it helps you. That's the only advice I can actually give. And just believe in yourself.
It changed your life?
It's completely changed my life. I'm a totally different person. I really am. My husband would vouch for it. I wouldn't say boo to a goose. I wouldn't even go into a shop and ask for a loaf of bread. I'm not joking. That's how I used to be. I'm very timid and just felt that eyes were on me. You know, and I wasn't wearing clothes that stood out or anything. Whereas now I'm a much more confident person, and yeah, it's made me feel better.
Encourage everyone to just get up, have a look around, have a look at the shoes, have a look at the books, and then we've got a decision to make, right? This is, you know, Kathy, this is just a tiny bit. She could have filled this room from top to toe and we would have been squashed in the middle, so I know it's all there for you to see. But you're going to have to decide, are you going to home in on just one thing? Are you going to do a very simple line drawing? Are you going to get a charcoal, black out all the page and just use a rubber to remove? Are you going to make a background like I did? I've got hair dryers, you can make background with acrylics, paints, dry it off. It's up to you, alright? We're going to draw, once you've got all your posts for about an hour, then I'm going to get you, because we're quite tight in here, I'm going to get you, just get up, have a look around, have a cup of tea. And then we're going to carry on till 1 o'clock. But before we do that, sorry, because I have overlooked. Did anyone have any questions for Kathy?
You look wonderful. Did you make
No,
all
I
this
didn't.
here?
No, I made the headdress.
Yeah, well, that's right.
And that was actually made from, I went into the cancer research shop along the road here, and they had this is like a plant, imitation plant, and there was about, I think there were 4 stems in a glass with that, like the glue stuff that's inside, you know, it was like stuck in, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, that would make a hat. So I didn't want the glass, it was huge, it was like, it stood about that tall, and these things were like curling over the top. So I said, I don't really want the glass, I just want the everything's inside. So I tried to pull them out, and I said, there's like little baubles in it, millions of these little baubles, and as I put it, it went all over the floor and everything. So that was quite fun. But yeah, I've made 4 different styles. Shoes, yeah, the shoes I bought in a charity shop along here, and they are vintage, and they'd never been worn.
Did they have the fluffy on them?
No, I put the fluffy bits on, because I have to change things. I do. I have to put my mark on everything. I don't know what that is, but I do.
Any other questions for Kathy? I think you've answered quite everything. So, okay, everyone, get up, have a look. The boards are over there, paper's over there. You can use pencil, fine liner, charcoal. You might want to use lots of colours.